gold down there, Diane. There's gold down there.
You're like their number one favorite guy. Because you won them cash. Well, this week it's our tour report for the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. But before we get on to talking about this extremely iconic tournament on a course that we've seen every year since the 70s, we have to go back to last week, the first WGC of 2021. It was the Workday Championship at the Concession. It was a Nicklaus design course, the first time it had ever held a PGA Tour event. And Collin Morikawa, I mean, I want to say kind of came out of nowhere, but we'll go back and talk about that because we didn't have him as one of our picks and we explained our reasons why. But what an incredible victory for this guy.
Yeah, Morikawa, we talked about him on our show last week. In fact, our celebrity guest, Chelsea, she picked Morikawa to win this tournament. She, of course, knew more than we did.
I know.
We talked about Morikawa changing his putter grip, and he was going to the claw grip, working with Marco Mira and talking to Paul Azinger about this golf course last week. And he really was almost last in putting on the tour with this new grip. So we had, rightfully so, sat him out of the top 10 last week, but he proved everyone that maybe, Diane, maybe the bar is starting to bend and we're not going to see everybody going for distance because Collin Morikawa won this tournament with precision iron shots. Just these greens were perched up. It was clear that that was going to be the way this was going to be won, was going to be good iron shots that weren't going to run away down into the palmetto bushes where guys were making 7s and 6s. And Morikawa did it with iron play precision.
Mm-hmm.
So, playing this week, but we're going to have that kind of style again this week.
Mm-hmm. So Concession, as we said, it was the first time we'd seen it, and we had Chelsea Pizzola on last week on the Celebrity Showdown. She'd played the course 100 times before, and we were prepared for the fact it was going to be a challenge. It was going to be a very tough course for the guys, especially when it came to the greens. Severely undulated greens, and oh man, I mean, we saw guys carding 10s, 9s because they were basically chipping the ball. It was either too much and they were rolling down the other side or not enough and the ball was coming back to them. I mean, there was countless times that we saw that happen. But that was the strength of Morikawa's game. His iron play was amazing. I mean, it was a display to watch, and especially on Saturday when he shot that incredibly low score. And then on Sunday, he really tamed the course and made it look easy because he was playing his irons perfectly.
Yeah, and I was listening to Paul Azinger, a past major champion, host at NBC Sports. We were both looking at exactly the same thing. It was, how was Morikawa going to handle the lead with a new putting stroke?
Yeah.
And he stood over 4 and 5 footers, and he was able to keep that putter, keep the tension on it, and he was able to get that stroke. It's taken him probably a month to get it. You're right, mentioning about how good he played his irons, but he's always hit his irons like that. Yeah. The only thing that's been holding him back has been that putter. And now it appears, Diane, that he has got that whole club quietened down, and he's won with it. So watch out for Morikawa, particularly next week.
You mentioned Paul Azinger, and he was on the telecast. He was kind of modest about it all because Chelsea Pizzola had told us that last week she had witnessed Morikawa asking Azinger for some advice. He's a member at Concession. He wanted advice when it came to scrambling around the greens, playing those chip shots, the pitch shots. And in his post-round interview, his winner's interview, he really credited Azinger with helping him.
Yeah, well, I mean, Morikawa's smart, right? I mean, I took lessons from Jackie Burke, Arnold Palmer right here that we're playing this week, Jack Nicklaus, anytime I saw these guys, because, Diane, they know. I mean, when you have a green that's up here and you're down here, Paul Azinger knows, being a member at Concession, what's the best way to get it close from here? We might go out there playing by ourselves and be thinking about going low, but he may say, no, we got to go high with spin. So he was smart, clever. Of course, he didn't need much chipping last week because he hit it so good. But, we moved to a different product this week. This is a totally different situation. Bay Hill, as you've already noted, one of the historic venues on the PGA Tour. Arnold Palmer would be very happy to know that Europeans have kind of dominated this event, Diane, in the last dozen or so years.
Well, talking of a certain European, Victor Hovland put on a phenomenal display as well at the WGC. At one point, I loved the fact that it was Morikawa, Hovland, and Scotty Scheffler, three guys who are under 25 who were right up there. And Hovland is just, he's a joy to watch, and to see these young guys go out and perform so well. I mean, you look at that talent, that it's not even emerging talent. These guys are running the show week after week.
Yeah, Hovland, when I think of Hovland, I think of that smile and that good attitude. But I also think of Hovland as a guy that drove the tour during the pandemic. Imagine just jumping in your car with all the assets these guys have, private planes and everything. Hovland said, no, I'm just going to drive the whole tour. I'm going to get in my car and drive to the next one. So he's had time to think. He's had time to prepare. Jackie Burke used to tell me, Diane, get rid of the plane, get in your car and drive. And the hours behind the wheel will help you calm down, and it'll give you a chance to get organized to going into the next week. It's not bad advice.
Yeah, he seems very chilled. It's working for him anyway, in that he's coming off 2 second-place finishes and a 5th place. And we're going to talk about him when it comes to the Arnold Palmer Invitational this week. But for Collin Morikawa, he's only the second guy under the age of 25 to have won a major and a WGC. The other guy, of course, being Tiger Woods. So he's figured out his putting. We talked about the fact that his iron game is always pristine anyway. He's young, he's got the energy, the passion, the motivation right now. Everything is pointing towards Morikawa just being a real stalwart in this game now.
Yeah, you and I were walking with Collin Morikawa with Pat Perez at the Players' Championship last year before the first round, before the pandemic hit. And I was standing behind Collin Morikawa's first time I saw him hit the ball live, and watching where he was starting the ball on 17 at Players' Championship and 18. Mm-hmm. And it's the first time that I'd seen in a long time, I saw that corkscrew fade. And when you think about a corkscrew, if you turn the corkscrew upside down, you look down and it has a spiral like that. And Morikawa, in our business, we know what the corkscrew fade looks like. It's one that goes out and just looks like it's fading, but it doesn't really fade. And Morikawa hits that shot. It's an incredible shot to possess. And he's able to aim that, Diane, a lot tighter to the flag than almost anyone out on the tour.
There's one thing that we really have to talk about to credit Morikawa's phenomenal play last week, and that's the fact he just got a brand new puppy, Koa the Golden Doodle. I saw the Instagram account. So he just got this new puppy in his life, and then he goes out and wins a WGC. It's like the perfect correlation.
You bring it all to the table. You tie it all together.
One thing that I definitely do not bring to the table is the winning score for the Celebrity Showdown. I mean, we'll touch on that quickly now. With it being a no-cut event, I was happy at the fact that my score was in the negative. But why am I doing so badly every single week? I was only -9. You stormed us with -28.
Well, I gather a lot of information. A lot of it I steal from you. You're my trusty Sherpa that goes out and brings all the information in, except you're not quite able to squish it all together into your picks just yet. You've already sort of told me about a pick you're thinking about this week, which is another mistake for you, but that's okay. We'll talk about that later on our Celebrity Shootout show.
Oh, gosh.
But Diane, this week is a big celebration for Arnold Palmer. I was lucky enough to know Arnold Palmer very well, and what an incredible man it was. What an event.
And we should just say very quickly that in the whole game, and it's not just us, plus our celeb guest, anyone can join the game. So we have a good number of people that play every week. Chelsea Pizzola was the only person to have Collin Morikawa in her team, which just shows, she was there. She had boots on the ground at Concession. She was watching him work. She saw him with Azinger. There's a lot to be said for the people that know these courses, and we really should have trusted her a little bit more. I should have trusted her a little bit more.
Well, we know, Diane, there's a formula to picking players that are doing well. 30% of it approximately would come from statistics. Another 30% would be experience on that golf course. And the other 30 would be the trend of moving up in a player's evolution of how are they playing right here and now. And we weren't able to do anything with Morikawa last week because there was a big question mark on his putter. But those picked, it was a brave pick.
It was. And the biggest congratulations to him.